You are watching Nimasa This Week, the authorized voice for the Nigerian maritime sector. My name is Iretiola Doyle and you are welcome.
The attention of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa, has been drawn to the activities of a web-based syndicate inviting employment applications from unsuspecting members of the Nigerian public to fill vacancies in the agency. The agency dissociates itself from the unauthorized syndicate and all internet-related activities of the group, including the payment of employment forms and processing fees. For clarity, recruitment exercises of the agency are always advertised in the Nigerian dailies, agency's newsletter and website. Any person or group of persons patronizing this unauthorized syndicate do so at his own risk, as the agency has not commissioned any person or consultant to conduct recruitment exercise on its behalf at this time. Members of the public are also informed that there is no organization or agency under the Federal Ministry of Transport known as the Nigerian Maritime Security Agency. For more information and clarification, members of the public are advised to send inquiries to publicrelations@nimasa.gov.ng on the subject matter. Signed, Management.
First off, before we start the show proper, we would like to congratulate the Nimasa football team for beating the defending champions, the Nigerian Customs, by 1-0 at a football match played yesterday. Congratulations, guys, and well done. Now on to the business of the week. The Planning, Research and Data Management Services Department of Nimasa plays a very crucial role in the agency's operations. Our feature report this week is on that very important department of Nimasa.
That Nimasa as an agency has been scoring numerous successes in the area of fulfilling its wide-ranging mandate is testimony to the fact that as an agency, it has done its homework pretty well. It is obvious that a lot of thoughts and planning has gone into the conception, gestation and implementation of all the agency's programs. A department at the agency can be said to be the brainbox of the agency. Alhaji Jama Bulama is the director of the department and here tells us about this all-important department.
The Planning, Research and Data Management Services, as the name connotes, is supposed to be the brain of the agency. That is where we are supposed to have planning officers who plan strategies for the agency, research officers who conduct research into relevant areas of operation of the agency, including other agencies that we can synergize to achieve what we see as achieving Nimasa objective and the industry objective. Because Nimasa, being the regulator of the maritime industry, has a very wide range of things that we should do so that the industry feels the impact of our regulatory function or activities. And then the other aspect, the data management services, basically refers to the ICT unit of the agency. And that is where we provide services to all the departments and units of the agency in terms of ICT deployment.
Planning and research are very tedious and time-consuming tasks that requires the collation of tremendous amounts of data. The Planning, Research and Data Management Department of Nimasa has evolved a time-tested formula for meeting this objective. The Deputy Director, Mr. M.B. Adewale, gives us an insight.
Yeah, it is tedious, but we have able hands in planning and research. Graduates that did statistics or mathematics in the universities, they are here with us as statisticians. So when they get all this raw data, either from units, from departments, or from outside agency, we collate it together and then they put it in the readable form that ordinarily people will understand what they are talking about. And has been even with our annual report, we put this on graphical form, in charts, in pie charts, that people can be able to read the ideas of the agency. So we have people hands, qualified staffs that can handle all this data. So these are the things we have been doing.
Perhaps the most crucial function of the department is the analysis of data that ensures that the agency remains solvent and viable to meet its very strategic statutory functions.
But when you get this raw data from shipping development, we don't even stay there alone. We also get data from NMPC. All the vessels coming to Nigeria, The NNPC have the record. The port authorities also have the record. Even the Navy, they also have the record. And then the customs. In fact, what they call the Sikuda, we are using it. We have it in our own. So when they send all those data to us, we look at all those things. And then we see the difference. Where there is difference in payment, because not the ship agents may not be able to declare all. But by the time you have your data from about 3 or 4 places, you should be able to see the difference. So when they push it to planning and research, we look at it very well. And when there's differences, we send it back to them to raise what you call additional invoice for them, and then they pay. So through this one, we have seen the increase in revenue.
The department finding also helps in the area of identifying defaulters or debtors, as the case may be. However, it does not stop there.
Debtors who do not want to pay their debt, who have not been paying for quite a long time. And that's also referred back to shipment development for a unit in that department which is called reconciliation. So monitoring and chartering and monitoring. We call it CMR, charter and monitoring. They do the reconciliation and confirm what we told them or what is submitted to them, so that those shipping companies that have not been paying or have been under declaring or not declaring, they cannot be billed for whatever the shortage that comes up from the report we got from the departments, the finance and shipment developments, and what we got from the research officers at the ports.
Reports and analysis from the department don't just circulate around the agency, but find their way to other relevant institutions of government for the overall good of governance. For instance, data concerning the Nigerian Seafarer Development Program is forwarded to the department for onward transmission.
LSDP is only when they have done the selection. We are not involved in the selection anyway. They do the selection, they do the placement. What we get from them is the data. So that we report, we show in our report to management and to agencies that are supposed to get a report from Nimasa, that like Ministry of Transport, National Planning Commission, and other agencies, that yes, this is what the NSDP has done in terms of training seafarers for this country. And that's normally reflected in our quarterly reports after collecting the reports from them.
In recent times, the department spearheaded what can be considered a revolutionary thrust for a paradigm shift in the operations of the agency.
When the management conceived the 4-point agenda, which is to transform Nimasa, change Nimasa way of doing things, I was the director of that department, and I was met the chairman of the committee to look into Nimasa operations vis-a-vis the 4-point agenda article by the executive management and come up with an implementing strategy. That we did with other staff nominated from other departments. It was a committee, but the planning department chaired that committee, and I chaired that committee. For over 6 months, we've been meeting severally with a consultant from Patome consulting firm. And thank God we are able to submit a report to the executive management in a retreat at the 4-point agenda hotels. 2 weeks ago, the executive management sat and approved that report. And they put up another committee, a review committee and an implementation committee.
The 4-point agenda adopted by Nimasa is poised to move Nimasa forward and position Nigeria as a true maritime nation. Alhaji Bulama spelled out the major thrust of the strategy.
The 4-point agenda, like when I was presenting the report, I said I would just call it a 1-point agenda. Because in each of the agenda items, if you pick it, there are some words that appear to be in each of them. And that word is capacity building. Capacity building in what form? Human resource capacity building is saying we should develop a staff strength that can manage properly whatever the system articulates. That capacity building. We talk of capacity building in terms of ship acquisition. We talk about capacity building in terms of training of seafarers. We talk of capacity building in terms of provision of platforms. So capacity building appears to be in each of the 4 areas. As I said, I would have loved to call it a 1-point agenda because it's all about capacity building. And I think if we can raise the issue of capacity building in all its ramifications, then we're going to achieve all the mandates of the agency within the shortest possible time.
The data management aspect of the department's mandate in the agency is perhaps the most strategic thrust of the agency's activities going forward, as digitalization and information communication technology increasingly takes center stage in all aspects of Nimasa's operations. The Assistant Director of ICT at Nimasa, Mr. Chris Amakolo, took time to tell us about the essential components of data management services required by the agency.
In pursuance of the 4-point agenda of the agency, the Data Management Services Unit ensures that all data information is managed effectively and digitally to ensure that anybody that requires any data for the different stakeholders, both internal and external stakeholders, get data effectively and efficiently, and of course in a faster means to enable their various operations work out smoothly.
Like most other organizations, adopting an e-payment platform for transaction has become an imperative for Nimasa. In this regard, the ICT department has a crucial role to play.
We have a platform where everything is automated, including internal operation and external operation, of course, which will bring about enabling our customers, which is those that pay cabotage services at 3% levy and other people registering ship, to actually log onto our website and interface with our finance department or financial application or with our banks to actually make payment automatically via the web. That is what you call the e-payment.
Once again, the boardroom at the headquarters of Nimasa in Apapa played host to another distinguished personality. This time, it was the Senior Special Advisor to Mr. President and the National Coordinator of Servicom that came calling. Up next is a report on that visit.
As a responsive agency of government with the responsibility of regulating the maritime industry, the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency Nimasa has evolved a peculiar service orientation that's endeared the agency to the maritime community. Enhancing this culture of responsive service delivery at the agency can be attributed to the existence of a Servicom desk at Nimasa. Servicom is a social contract between the federal government of Nigeria and its people. It gives citizens the right to demand quality service from government institutions and agencies where services are provided. On Monday, 25th of March, the Senior Special Advisor to the President and National Coordinator on Servicom, Mr. Silbrek Obriki, paid a visit to the management of Nimasa at the agency's headquarters in Apapa, Lagos. Mr. Obriki and his team were given a warm welcome by the management of Nimasa, led by the Director General, Mr. Zakede Patrick Akpobulokemi. The National Coordinator on Servicom used the occasion of the visit to underscore the importance of the concept of Servicom.
One of the major things which Servicom do is at least inform Nigerians the need for Nigerians to be served well. That's we relate with MDs to improve service standard. Look at the areas of service failure and work with them to make sure services should improve in all MDAs, and to at least create public awareness when there is service failure, so that Nigerians should be given right to challenge service failure. That's traditional civil servants employed to perform specific function to improve the living standard of Nigerians. So when there is service failure, it is the right of Nigerians to challenge service failure. That is why the unit, the agency called Nimasa, is created to address a particular area of Nigerian economy.
Responding, the DG assured the visiting presidential senior special advisor of Nimasa's determination to meet and exceed the benchmarks set by Servicom for the benefits of Nigerians.
We've seen how Servicom has been raising the tempo of service delivery in the country. We've watched your visitations to various institutions of government and your sermons that you have preached all these years. We don't have any choice than to key into the Servicom charter, the principles behind the Servicom being approved as an important organ of government or institution of government to midwife good service delivery.
At the end of the visit, Nimasa this week had a quick chat with the head of the Servicom desk at Nimasa.
We've been able to achieve modest results in our effort to improve service delivery in the agency. We conducted a compliance audit and need assessment in the head office and all other offices of the agency, and the result of which we have a modern reception area. Accordingly, we analyzed and reviewed our integrated service charter, which has gone through all the due process stages, including approval from the office of the Special Assistant to the President on Servicom in Abuja, and now we have the new integrated service charter of the agency in the agency. The Director General of Nimasa and his executive team for giving us all the encouragements that we need, for giving us all the necessary training that we require to perform and inculcate productivity, creativity, and high performance efficiency in our work.
A strategic ally of Nimasa and indeed a very important stakeholder in the maritime sector is the Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria. Recently, a branch of the union held elections here in Lagos, and Nimasa this week was there to record proceedings. Up next, we have that report for you.
The Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria is the umbrella union of all the workers in the maritime sector. The union caters for the interests of seafarers and dock workers. Its branches consist of different cadre of workers in shipping companies as well as core seafarers. Recently, the Delegates Conference of the Seamen / Newer and Water Transport Workers branch of the union took place at the Golden Tulip Hotel, Amuwodofi in Lagos. At the conference, branch elections were held for executive positions in the branch. The elections were for the most part free and fair, with a lot of positions filled unopposed. After the results were announced, the new executive were inaugurated into office after a short swearing-in ceremony.
On oath that I shall defend the Constitution of Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria at all times.
The President General of the Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria, Comrade Anthony Nted Emmanuel, gave a speech enjoining the newly inaugurated executive to be diligent and honest.
The union relies on check of use. All of us need to understand one thing. The people who suffer at the care drop, day and night, working under the sun, some are on the high seas, some are using the small craft. At the end of the day, from their sweat, the management deduct money from their salaries and give to us to maintain the union, to pay salaries, to take honorarium, or whatever it is as far as the union is concerned. But this money that was made for this purpose, somebody collected it and put it in his pocket. Take it home, eat it alone with the family, and the person is happy. You will see, it is very, very dangerous.
A Nimasa official attended the delegates conference as an observer and had the following to say about the proceedings.
Nimasa have come to witness the election of the Lagos district. It was peaceful. I saw it was fair. There was no kind of behind the scene, it was open. I believe the officials elected are going to move the system forward.
Nimasa this week spoke with Comrade Adewale Adeyonju, the newly re-elected chairman of the Dock Workers Branch of the Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria, and sought his views on Nimasa's regulatory functions in the maritime industry.
My second tenure is going to be a service to humanity, because it's not going to be as business as usual, because I'm going to do a lot of renovations, a lot of transformation in the lives of dock workers. And moreover, we want to applaud the DG Nimasa for a wonderful job the man has been doing since he came into the Nimasa. I want to thank him for the support he has been giving to the maritime workers of Nigeria. My challenge now, it has to do with the biometric ID card for dock workers, because the ID card have been expired, and we want Nimasa DG to look into it very well, that all the dock workers all over the port should be registered. It's very important. It's like a driver driving a vehicle without the driver license. So I think the DG Nimasa should look into it.
So we are passing this information that anything that will make the seaman not to get his own proper place in the industry, we will go against it vehemently. Any laws that the federal government have put in place to enable Nimasa to work very well, effectively, that any shipping company that does not obey those laws, that shipping company must find himself out of this country.
The attention of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Nimasa, has been drawn to the activities of a web-based syndicate inviting employment applications from unsuspecting members of the Nigerian public to fill vacancies in the agency. The agency dissociated itself from the unauthorized syndicate and all internet-related activities of the group, including the payment of employment funds and processing fees. For clarity, recruitment exercises of the agency are always advertised in the Nigerian dailies, agency's newsletter and website. Any person or group of persons patronizing this unauthorized syndicate do so at his own risk, as the agency has not commissioned any person or consultant to conduct recruitment exercise on its behalf at this time. Members of the public are also informed that there is no organization or agency under the Federal Ministry of Transport known as the Nigerian Maritime Security Agency. For more information and clarification, members of the public are advised to send inquiries to public relations at nimasa.gov.ng on the subject matter. Signed, Management.
A group of young ladies representing the National Association of Female Ijaw Students recently paid a courtesy visit on the Director General of Nimasa. We thought we'd bring you highlights of this unique visitation.
Delegation of the National Association of Ijaw Female Students visited the Director General of Nimasa, Mr. Patrick Akobolekemi, on Monday, 18th of March 2013. The delegation was led by Elizabeth Ajua, President of the association. The current winner of the Miss Ijaw Beauty Pageant was in the delegation, and she used the opportunity to acquaint the DG with her pet project. Nimasa this week caught up with the delegation and asked the president what the aim of their visit to the agency was.
We just came to pay him a courtesy visit for the good work that he has been doing to youths recently. We can see that a lot of training has been carried out by him since he came, and a lot of good work, and I can see that a lot of people have been appreciating him.
Haja Lami Tumaka, the head of public relations at Nimasa, was also on hand to welcome the young ladies and shared some words with the visitors.
Now, we received quite a number of very interesting comments in the course of the week, and in keeping with our promise to make this show an interactive one, we would like to share some of these comments with you. And this week we start like this. Now, our first comment is from Obani Omotosho of Lagos, and he has a few commendable things to say about the Ship Refurbishment Fund. His comments read, I watched an episode of your very informative program Nimasa this week, in which stakeholders were informed about the shortlisting of shipping companies whose ships have been chosen to benefit from the Vessel Repair Fund. I must say that the initiative by Nimasa is a very noble one and will certainly help indigenous ship owners compete favorably with the foreign ship owners who currently dominate our cabotage trade. I must also commend ISAN, the Indigenous Ship Owners Association of Nigeria, under the leadership of Chief Isaac Jolapamo, for cooperating with the management of Nimasa in this very important initiative. Kudos Nimasa, kudos ISAN. Our second comment this week is from Igonibo Oruwari, I hope I got that right, all the way from Port Harcourt, and it concerns the visit of the President of the World Maritime University. His comments read, last week's episode of your program that featured the visit of the President of the World Maritime University delights me to no end. I have watched several editions of your program where human capacity building has been the theme. I used to be very skeptical of the seriousness of Nimasa in implementing the program. In fact, I thought it was all hype. But when the visiting president of the World Maritime University publicly declared that Nigeria was second behind China in the number of students at the world-acclaimed university, I was blown away. This is proof that Nimasa is indeed serious about boosting the participation of Nigerians in the maritime sector. I urge Nimasa to keep up the good work. Thank you so much for those comments. Now, please don't forget, keep those questions and comments coming. All you need to do is send them to the email address currently showing on your screen. Now, that is our edition for this week. As always, we hope we kept you educated and informed. We're going to be here same time, same station next week. Until then, we're wishing you smooth sailing and bon voyage.